In this video, let's talk about the applicant tracking system. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I've seen a number of resumes over time, and sometimes there's this mistake that a lot of applicants make. And I think it's important that I bring it up because for those of you who are following this channel, I believe that you're looking for information like this to hopefully increase your chances of getting called for that interview or getting selected for that program. So let's talk about this. If you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks for coming back again. I appreciate the likes. And of course, if you have any questions, please, you can reach out to me via Instagram or the comment section below. But the best way to reach me is Instagram because I get to respond eventually. It might take me some time because sometimes I get a lot of messages. So please bear with me. All right. When you make your resume, and I'm going to show you a typical example here with a picture. All right. When you make a resume, a certain font style may look presentable, may look nice, may look beautiful, right? Because we often want to showcase our interests and maybe our style through the resume. But in doing that, you could actually be making a mistake because when that resume or that CV gets scanned through maybe an automated system, guess what? Errors might be made. Now, this system are advanced, and especially with the AI, world that we live in now, there's often, the ability to maybe overlook some of those mistakes and help you fix things, but you don't want to rely on that. The goal is to present your information in a way that the system reads exactly what you've written down. And like I said, I'm going to show you an example with a picture of what someone wrote, okay, and what a system would actually read. Now, understand that not all airlines will use an applicant tracking system, but it is best to still think, if there's an automated system that would go through your CV, you want to make sure that you have it done properly. And of course, if it goes to a human person as well, you want to make sure that the recruiter is able to read your resume easily. So let's talk about some of the tips that you should keep in mind when choosing a font. So before we get into recommendations, I would like you to see these examples. In the first picture that you see here, you would see that everything looks just normal, like certificates, and you have trial flight, and maybe some other ones that I will point out as we go on. But let me show you the second one here, especially when this is then copied and pasted into a word processor, for example. You would see that the F in certificate is changed to a colon. In trial flight, the FL is changed to a semicolon. And you just see that the different, for example, in different, the double F is changed to a 6. Those are the kind of things, and I can continue to point out more errors like that in different type of formats that you may use, and everything may look just fine, but when you then paste it into some form of a word processor or applicant tracking system, it's unable to read that certificate or unable to read that CV. And that is because this type of fonts can sometimes be interpreted or misinterpreted by these automated systems. So that is something that you want to keep in mind. So here are my recommendations to you when you are making your CV in terms of the type of font, the font style, and also size that you should use. According to general recommendations out there, the 3 fonts that are recommended are Arial, Calibri, and Times New Roman. Now, these type of fonts are generally more readable and they are not misinterpreted by applicant tracking system. So it is best to stick with these general fonts so that you don't have this kind of problems as you make your resume over time. The next thing is be very consistent with the type of fonts that you choose. Some people may use a different font for their name and then they try to use a different font for the body of their CV. That is not something that you want to do. If you have a specific font, stick to it from the top to the bottom of your CV. Generally speaking, the font size of each text in the body should be between 10 and 12. If you need more room, maybe you can condense it to like 12. You can go a little smaller, right? But just be very careful and be mindful of that. When it comes to the headings, let it be between 14 and 16. That is generally what is recommended for that. Now, as you make your resume, remember there's this guide that I made, even though I think it's due for an update at this point, but I believe it would help you in getting your resume started and at least give you some tools that you need to make something for yourself. Another thing to consider in regards to ATS systems is that be very careful about graphics, pictures, icons on your CV because those things can throw off the applicant tracking system and could misinterpret them. So make sure you are very careful of using such. It is important to consider keywords that are unique to the airline when writing your resume. Try to find ways to include those naturally in a way that it flows smoothly with your resume, and of course it aligns with your values and your own personality as well. This can definitely be a point to keep in mind, because it could make a difference in getting selected, at least getting reviewed by a person. So remember, always stick to the format that you're asked to submit. If you're asked for a PDF document, make sure it's a PDF, and if it's a Word document, make sure it's a Word document. The key thing here is that whatever they request is what you should submit. Don't submit something different than what they've asked you. Now, another thing I would recommend is if you're using a format or a style that may not work well, it's best to use some of those resume scanners that are freely online, or just copy and paste your text like a Word document and see if it's all over the place. If it's all over the place, guess what? There's a chance that your system or your CV will be scanned in that order as well. So that is something that you want to watch out for. And I thought I should share this information with you all, and hopefully you found value in this one. If you have, don't forget to drop a like on it, and I'll see you in a future video.